I have been of the mind that Brad Stevens has done a almost surprisingly, quite frankly, like no disrespect intended, but he has done a tremendous job in his role as president of basketball operations. Like some believe that, he should have been executive of the year last year. And obviously he was high up in the voting. But, I was looking back at this just a few days ago, and he's made, I don't have the tweet in front of me, but if I remember right, this will now be the 10th trade that he has made in his new role. And, in just a little over a year, obviously. And most of those have been minor and, salary dumping or cap clearing or whatever. But what I would argue is, and I think most people on the surface are going to immediately and rightfully so call this trade a win, but most trades that he has made, whether they've been wins or, like good for both sides. Like I know you wrote the article last year, I think it was, about Danny Ainge, always trying to win trades, and other executives across the league, and, not wanting to get fleeced, and got hesitant to work with him, and, on and on. And, how would that trickle down to Brad and his role? And obviously what was the role of Mike Zarin and all of that? Brad has not made a bad trade yet. There are some people out there that like Gary Washburn, who's on the show all the time, has been pretty vocal lately saying that he thought the Derek White trade was a bad trade. I don't agree. I think the Derek White trade at worst was an even trade, with the possibility to turn into a very good trade for Boston if obviously he's better next year. But obviously you gave up Richardson, you gave up a future first, all of that stuff. But I know I'm rambling, Keith, but I continue to be impressed with the role or the job that Brad has done in this role with regard to making trades. He's, at worst, they've been fair. At best, they've been lopsided wins. He's not made a bad deal yet.
Yeah, no, he really hasn't. This is, whether it's, you want to give all the credit to Brad or Mike Zarin and the staff, because this is probably, knowing Brad will say it was everybody but him, right? That's just the kind of guy he is. But this is, good stuff too, because people get hung up on the whole trading first round pick stuff. They're trying to win a championship. This is no longer about let's build for 3-4 years down the line. They want to win a championship this year. They were in game 6 of the NBA finals. We can even argue with a guy like Malcolm Brogdon to help with some of the execution. They probably win the title this a couple weeks ago. And now you're moving all this together as they kind of go all in with this. So this is, this is big time stuff. And Brad continues to nail these, trades, these picks and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, he is tough. Now, what I will say with Brogdon, one thing, he is very, very injury prone. He misses a lot of time. So that's something, but they've got enough guard depth to work around it, as we talked about. That's probably now why I don't think we'll see Peyton Pritchard moved, because it'll just be, hey, hang tight. Because we know Smart's going to miss 15, 20 games just with the way he plays. Brogdon will probably miss 15 to 20 games. Derek White tends to be a pretty healthy guy. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard, you've got enough depth to get by. Go get another big. I still ideally would like to see another wing, but let's see where that goes.
So Brogdon, 36 games last year, and he's never played. I'm 75 as a rookie.
I will say last year, sorry to interrupt you, Adam, but last year he was healthy enough to play at the end of the season, probably from February on, and he did not play a lot because the Pacers were, headed in a different direction.
But even to your point, in an average year, he plays in the neighborhood of 55 to 60.
Correct. Yep.
This from Jake Fisher, by the way, Bleacher Report writes, had heard Indiana was interested in Grant Williams, as the Pacers have been connected to a lot of forwards. For Boston to land Malcolm Brogdon without sacrificing Williams is a big win for the Celtics. As our guy Greeny, Dan Greenberg, tweeted, hardball Brad. Again, like people are going to look at this trade as a win regardless, even if Grant Williams, was in there instead of Daniel Tice or something like that. But the fact that it is, Grant sticking around, who, by the way, is not too far from a pretty sizable payday. But, the role that he played last year and consistent part of the rotation, the 3-point shooting, defensive reliability, all of that, to keep him really is a big, big win for Brad and the Celtics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, to go back to, let's rewind maybe, 20 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We were talking about minimums. Yeah, absolutely. Now they've got roster spots they've got to fill out. So now I do think, a guy like Thomas Bryant comes in. But here's the other thing that is maybe just in the overall rush excitement of all this. They just got Danilo Gallinari and Malcolm Brogdon without giving up a single rotation player. Two guys are coming in to fill out what was already a very strong 8-man rotation, and they didn't give up another rotation player in the deal.
Yeah.
That's hard to be upset with that, right?
Do you think we are heading in, whether it's Thomas Bryant or another big, because I was going to ask you this right before the trade news broke, with Daniel Tice now gone, like my question for you was going to be, all right, so if they add Bryant, is Daniel Tice on the move? Well, Daniel Tice is on the move.
Yeah.
Does that lead you to believe all the more so now that a big is coming in?
I do. You have to, because you got to be protected just with Rob's history. And I think, early in the season, they may take it very easy on him. We already talked about Al. Between those two, I do think you not that Grant's not a very good third big, but he's not a center sized guy. And we've seen that they've had issues when he's had to play the 5. So I do think you want to get another true 5 on the roster.
Matt Moore's out here tweeting they can roll out Brogdon, Smart, Jalen, Tatum, Horford. You have high-level shooters, elite defense, someone to actually get the offense organized so it doesn't melt into garbage. You can also roll out Brogdon, Smart, Tatum, Horford, Williams to combat double big units. You're basically dwarfing most teams in terms of size, length, and defense. Their options are pretty much infinite. Yeah. We talked about the team last year this way. How much more so is this true now?
My mind's spinning a little bit with lineup possibilities.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I mean, Brad just gave Ime like, hey, you need offense, run this. You need defense, run that. You need this, do that. Like I mean, there is just there are infinite options here. You can do all sorts of stuff. And again, you still have enough depth coverage if one of these guys get hurt. Right, you're still in a pretty good position here. Again, you just, not to belabor the point, but you got these guys without giving up a single rotation guy,
right,
for you. So just massive.